Starting us off with a nice F you to Diesel Patches for beating me to this video. Been trying to work on it, so this is my first video today. We are going to be talking about a man named Mr. Girl, if you could call him a man. This dude is Creep 101. If you guys don't know, he's in a little bit of controversy, particularly with one of his videos, one of his newer videos, where he talks about cuties, and no, not what everyone else is doing, the sane people who are criticizing it. No, he is actually defending it. Not just defending it, he says the girls are hot. Let's just let that sink in, that he calls these 11-year-olds hot. And it's not just that. He really goes into it. A nice 24-minute video on why he thinks Cuties is a good movie. Yeah, he's Creep 101. If you guys want to take some notes, go ahead. But no, we won't be talking too much about that. We're going to be talking about his channel in general, and particularly a video that he made about Steven Crowder. Now, I feel kind of bad for Steven Crowder here, because the name of the video is I'm adopting Steven Crowder as my son, which, coming from a dude who thought Cuties was good, Mr. Girl, I don't think anybody wants to be his son. I don't think anybody wants to be a kid near his vicinity. I don't think anybody wants to be in his vicinity whatsoever. In fact, I'm thinking about moving him out of my house right now. Unfortunately for me, this whole video is 41 minutes, and I'd have to watch a lot of his videos, and I have watched a lot of his videos, just so I can seem a bit more educated here and not just be like, oh, this guy sucks because, well, I could honestly just say the Cuties thing, but let's just leave that out for a second. This guy sucks because whatever, he disagrees with me on politics. That's not the issue here. I don't really care if he disagrees with anybody on politics. No, this guy is, he's a big hypocrite, and it's not even that he's a hypocrite, it's how he presents his opinions, because his opinions don't even seem like opinions. He just wants to be a contrarian, just a person who's like, hey, majority of people think this, I am going to disagree with that. Not necessarily because it's the right way to think, or I genuinely think this is a good opinion to have, but just because everyone disagrees with it. And that's not a good way to go about things, and that's why it leads me to believe that's why he made the Cuties video, which I can't actually say he's a pedophile, but it doesn't seem like he's just trying to be contrarian in that, but he could be. But he also has a bunch of other videos on his YouTube channel that kind of just seem like, oh, well, this is the majority opinion. I think I'm going to disagree with that. And it's a way to gain clicks, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Hustle you what you want, but I'm going to criticize it. That's what I'm going to do. Just a little add-on to that little contrarian statement that I made before, where I said he just wants to disagree with the majority opinion, or just start some kind of controversy. He has been arrested. He's admitted to it on his YouTube channel. You can look it up. He has been arrested for sympathizing with a school shooter. So, yeah, there's that. So, as I said before, we were going to be talking about his video that he made on Steven Crowder's Change My Mind video, where I believe Steven Crowder talks about a Black Lives Matter thing. I'll have to look into that a second. But I just want to, say before this that it doesn't matter my political opinions here. I honestly don't care. I've seen plenty of videos from Steven Crowder, and I've seen plenty of videos from people on the left as well. I don't care. I don't care what your political opinions are, as long as they're not rooted in some kind of evil ideology, such as pedophilia. Just putting that out there. My issue is when it comes across as hypocritic, and then when you are criticizing something, you either actively do, or it doesn't really seem to be a good idea to kind of criticize. You understand what I'm saying? More like a person, say, just as an example, no reason here. Let's say someone who defends a movie such as Cuties, and then goes and criticizes some opinions over here. And you'll see some of my criticisms here. They're not going to come from a political kind of ideology. It's going to come from just, I'm criticizing Mr. Girl. That's it. I don't care if he disagrees with me on politics. I'm sure we agree on some things, not Cuties. And there's things, just to say it, there's things I disagree with Steven Crowder on as well. But anyways, let's get right into the video here.
Time for the newest installment of Change My Mind, where we rationalize our positions on controversial topics. For this installment, we set up shop in Austin, Texas to discuss...
Well, it's not what Change My Mind is. Change My Mind is you upset people who you think are dumber than you, and sometimes are, for money.
Here we have the intro to almost all of Steven Crowder's Change My Mind, where he explains it, and he says it's just trying to rationalize views and have a good discussion. And that's what it usually is, at least, from an outsider's perspective. That's what it really is. That's the point of it. Obviously, you find those videos that he makes where it's like somebody freaks out, and that happens, And Mr. Girl criticizes it. Oh, in a way that I've seen a few people criticize it, where it's like, oh, that's not what Change My Mind is. Change My Mind is blah, blah, blah. And you upset people who think you are dumber than you, and sometimes are. Now, let's just dissect that for a second. You upset people who you think are dumber than you, so he's criticizing Steven Crowder for upsetting others in a way, you know, provoking them in a way, and like, you know, maybe saying they're dumb or something, or just, you know, trying to provoke them because he thinks they're dumber than him, and they'll fall for it. And then he calls these people, he says most often than not, they are dumber. That's, I don't know, that if I was one of the people in Steven Crowder who got upset about something or was on there, and then I see this guy who's like, oh wait, he might agree with me. He's saying that Steven Crowder's not too good, and then he just calls me dumb. I don't know. That kind of defeats the purpose of you trying to take the moral high ground here. You're trying to take a ground above Steven Crowder being like, oh, you think people are dumber than you, and you're trying to upset them, and then you just call these people dumb. You know, it's just a blanket statement, and that just kind of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to say here. But we're spending a little bit too much time on the first few seconds, so let's get right into it.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Neither do I. I'm open to changing my mind. Are you? I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I'm a centrist.
For this installment, we set up shop in Austin, Texas to discuss why Antifa should be labeled a domestic terrorist organization. But we realized Antifa's a little niche, so we wanted to cast our net wider. So, one and the same, Black Lives Matter is a domestic terrorist organization.
God, the dude is just so weird. I don't get it. And I don't know. I know centrist people. My dad's more centrist. He's not really a centrist. He doesn't have centrist beliefs, and it come across as that way, especially when you look at his cuties video. Like I said, I think his videos are mostly just to gain some kind of maybe it is to gain a controversy around him or something, get more views or something, because there are people who just like attention, doesn't matter what it is. But back into it, he starts dancing, and I don't want to see a man bouncing up and down. He just starts eating a popsicle in the video as well, which I don't get what that's supposed to be, you know. It's really weird to me. Maybe he's supposed to gain another kind of reaction. I don't know. He's weird. He's really weird, and that's not a criticism against him. I'm just telling you guys, I'm not going out of my way to try and get this. You know, this is him. You know, or at least this is his online presence, and it's not fun. It's not fun to watch it. It's not entertaining. He's not funny. You know, eating a popsicle in the middle of criticizing someone, maybe you're trying to look like real badass. Popsicles aren't badass, buddy. Those are for kids. But
Steven Crowder's an imposter in a lot of ways, actually. He's a Canadian pretending to be deeply American and patriotic. He's gay pretending to be straight. And today we're going to talk about how he's a fucking idiot pretending to be a smart person.
he's a Canadian, pretending to be patriotic, and he's gay, pretending to be straight. But one, he's married to a girl, you know, or woman. He has a wife. Who cares about that? But then he says he's a Canadian, pretending to be patriotic. There's no pretending to be patriotic. If you live in a country that you deeply love and you show that love for that country, what is the issue with that? I don't think that there's, like, what, can people not from America be patriotic? Is that what you're saying? Because that's pretty racy, buddy. That's what would that be? That'd be almost xenophobic, that these people can't be patriotic to America. What is that a problem with that? Is there a problem with some immigrants being patriotic in America? I don't think that's an issue. That sounds like a you thing, buddy. Similar to how you think that 11-year-olds dancing is pretty hot.
2, I am attacking a YouTuber with about 3,000 times as many subscribers as I have. And I am partly doing that so that I can have more subscribers.
And there we can agree that, attacking a YouTuber with a bigger following, that's going to gain you some more views. And look at that. We can come to some kind of common ground here, because that's exactly what I'm doing to you, Mr. Girl. You have a nice controversy around you. People want to shit on you, and I'm here to do that. People are going to like it, be like, oh man, another guy's shitting on him. Let me get in on this. People like that. And, I can agree with you on that. If I was in, if I disagreed with a lot more of what Steven Crowder said, or I saw a legit problem that I can go off of, hell, I would make a video on him too, for sure. And you know what? I might even do that if I want to get some money, dude. I completely agree with you there.
3, I'm going to be reacting to Steven Crowder's video about how Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. I have never seen this video, partly because I was saving it so I could make this video, but also partly because I cannot stand watching Steven Crowder's videos. For somebody who's so obsessed with him, I've actually seen very little of his content because it makes me flip out. Here we go.
He apparently doesn't watch a lot of his videos, especially, you know, he says it himself, for someone who's so obsessed with him, I don't watch a lot of his content. That doesn't really make any sense. If you want to come across as, you know, well-educated on a topic, or when you're criticizing someone, you should watch their content, you know? It's especially in the case of when you're trying to be in politics, right? When you have political opinions, you want to see both sides. That's what you're supposed to do. Especially if you're criticizing someone, it's going to come across really badly if you're criticizing someone and you apparently don't watch a lot of their content. Though someone like Steven Crowder is very out there, so it's a little bit different in that sense, so maybe you don't need to watch all of his content, but I wouldn't have said that personally if I were him at that point.
Saying why not? F it, let's just abolish the police. Let's just see what happens. If it crashes and burns, okay, then it crashes
But I
and burns.
thought Black Lives Matter.
If it crashes and burns.
But many black people will be killed. Innocent black people.
First things first, even in that little clip of him going like innocent black people, he has this weird way. I'm going to talk to you, Steven. That's what this is. This is a personal letter. You have a way of talking about death and racism and violence that shows no empathy whatsoever.
This is a part I don't get either. This doesn't make any sense. He's the one talking about an issue, right? Made up or not, whatever you want to say, right? Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. He brings up an issue of innocent black people dying due to defunding the police, right? And then he says that Steven Crowder has a way of talking about these things as if it doesn't matter or if he's unempathetic towards it. Doesn't matter how he talks about it. Obviously, you want to be, you know, more sensitive about this stuff, but he's the one bringing it up and being sensitive about it. So if maybe in your opinion he's not coming across as very genuine when talking about this, but I mean he's the one talking about it, you know. No, I don't think. Am I going to criticize somebody on the way that they talk about something? Maybe if it comes across as very disingenuous, but you're not talking about someone being disingenuous here. I thought you were talking about his arguments and why you don't like him. That's a bit nitpicky. I'm getting nitpicky too, though. So we're spending a little bit too much time in the first 3 minutes here. So let's skip ahead. There's 41 minutes in this video, and I still have other things to talk about with this whole channel. So
like I said, we kind of just talked about it. The idea is to rationalize our positions on controversial topics, and hopefully it doesn't emerge into a shouting match. That's why we try and sit down. We can't offer you any beverage right now because
You hope it doesn't emerge into a shouting match? That's not true. You want her to flip out. That is your sole purpose in making these videos.
Sorry, we're still in the first 3.5 minutes, but this is one of the things that really made me want to make this video, where he says, no, you don't hope that it won't emerge to a shouting match. Your sole purpose is to get this kind of reaction, which that's not true. I have to be objective here. That's not the point of Change My Mind. The point of Change My Mind is to rationalize discussions, and that happens a good amount of the time. You see very good conversations there. And here's the thing. Steven Crowder, right? He's a political commentator. He's a political comedian, whatever you want to say. He's supposed to move the meter, you know. The people, you know, I'm sure everyone thinks that those videos where, you know, Ben Shapiro destroys libtards, you know, those videos are cringy. However, they move the meter. They move the meter. That's what they're supposed to do, right? What people want to see is these kinds of things, you know. Obviously, objectively, what should happen is civil discussion. But if people freak out, that gains clicks, that gains momentum, right? That means Steven Crowder, he's a YouTuber like anyone else. Or, well, no, he's actually has Mug Club. I don't think he's monetized on YouTube anymore, but he wants that traffic gained towards him. So if someone freaks out, he's going to use that, similar to how I'm using you for clicks and similar to how you're using him for clicks. Similar to actually how you portray your opinions in such a way where it just comes off as contrarian. People want to disagree with you all the time, so you know that's going to get some kind of traffic to you. The cuties thing has gotten a lot of traffic to you. My video may even get a little bit more traffic to you. Doesn't matter. The point is that it's sensationalist. It's sensationalist, and that's what people go for online. That's what people look for. Doesn't mean that it's objectively right, and I will agree with you that those shouting matches maybe can be entertaining, but they're not good. We don't want to see that. However, it comes off as really hypocritical when you're saying that's the sole purpose of this, when it seems like a lot of the purpose of your channel is just to be, hey, I disagree with this majority opinion. Let me get some people riled up, you know? Alright, two things here. One, Steven Crowder said the mic thing because somebody else has tried to steal the mic, and he was just bringing it up, just for banter, just to talk somebody, make it be a little bit more comfortable, and it worked. They got a bit more comfortable around each other. They laughed about it a little bit. That was good. That was a good way to have conversation there for a second. Kind of separate it from the kind of stressful politics, because it gets very stressful in those kind of situations. I know this very well, where you're talking to somebody around in a big group of people. It can be very stressful. It doesn't matter what you know. It's very stressful. Those kind of playful things, that works. It had nothing to do with his race, I'm sure. And if it did, it clearly the dude didn't take offense to it. So I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. And then he goes into how he knows that Steven Crowder will never talk about the KKK. Steven Crowder, as I said, wants to generate those clicks as well. So obviously talking about something like Black Lives Matter, a controversial type of organization, and calling out as a terrorist organization is going to gain more clicks. And I think it's well known that the KKK is a bad organization. Nobody likes them. Nobody does.
Fill you in a little bit on what it is that we do. That's okay. You can knock it or just don't steal it, I ask. Someone tried to do that once.
Damn it, I tried. That's why I came here, to steal the mic.
To steal the mic? Yeah.
I need a mic for my studio, yo. All right.
Well, I wouldn't steal this one. It's pretty crappy.
All right, anything will work right now.
It's been upgraded since. I think our sound guy actually has some really good mics. I'll give you his home address, his list of hobbies, and daily schedule.
I got you.
So typically what we do with Change My Mind is we take topics that are often seen as controversial.
What the fuck is the matter with you? Have you ever told a white person not to steal your mic? If you believe that the KKK is a terrorist organization comparable to Black Lives Matter, why do I know in my heart that you would never make a video about the KKK or how you don't like the KKK or how you're against the KKK?
Right, two things here. One, Steven Crowder said the mic thing because somebody else has tried to steal the mic, and he was just bringing it up, just for banter, just to talk somebody, make it be a little bit more comfortable, and it worked. They got a bit more comfortable around each other. They laughed about it a little bit. That was good. That was a good way to have conversation there for a second. Kind of separate it from the kind of stressful politics, because it gets very stressful in those kind of situations. I know this very well, where you're talking to somebody around in a big group of people. It can be very stressful. It doesn't matter what you know. It's very stressful. Those kind of playful things, that works. It had nothing to do with his race, I'm sure. And if it did, it clearly the dude didn't take offense to it. So I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. And then he goes into how he knows that Steven Crowder will never talk about the KKK. Steven Crowder, as I said, wants to generate those clicks as well. So obviously talking about something like Black Lives Matter, a controversial type of organization, and calling out as a terrorist organization is going to gain more clicks. It's something that he wants to bring to light. You could just say he just wants to have a controversial opinion, which you could say that. I can agree with that he does want to have some controversial opinions. But the point is that you're criticizing him, not calling out the KKK. And I think it's well known that the KKK is a bad organization. Nobody likes them. Nobody does.
And this is why I'm so uniquely suited to just rip you a new one.
The fact of the matter is that you're not uniquely suited in that kind of way. I mean, yeah, whatever your personal your personal history is, that might make you, a little bit more experienced in a way, but that's just not true here. To rip Steven Crowder a new one, in what world? In what world? I mean, if you want to have a debate with him, go ahead and try, but I'm gonna disagree with that right there. And it's mostly on the fact of, it seems like a lot of your opinions are literally just, I disagree with this majority opinion. I disagree with a status quo. And no. But yeah, that's about it for this video. He has some other videos on there that I can reference a little bit. He has one, here's one. It's, bathrooms should not be segregated by sex. I mean, whatever you want to say. How Joker Affected Me. That's an interesting title. That could be a good one. I'm not saying all of his videos are bad. I'm just saying he seems to have this kind of sensationalist kind of titles, or like I made a Pornhub parody GIF, or GIF, whatever you want to say. And then of course the most controversial of them all, he dared make a title, a video about this, The Last of Us 2 review, empathy and anti-cultism. And let me tell you guys, I'm gonna give you a spoiler. I'm sorry to say that Mr. Girl, he says the game is good. I know. He's insane. This man. He has, I thought the Cuties thing was bad, but he said The Last of Us 2 is a good game. He disagreed with me, guys. We have to cancel him right now. But yeah, all jokes aside, I'm not a big fan of this dude, and it's mostly due to the fact of his cuties video. But I just wanted to, point out some hypocrisies of what he talks about with Steven Crowder, especially because everyone's talking about the cuties things, and Diesel Patches beat me to the video about it. So thought I might just, just talk about it a little bit. This is my first video. I'll probably make a video about welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Yeah. Stay frosty. See ya.
I thought that we were gonna become lovers. I thought you and I would be lovers, but I think that actually I need to be your dad. I think you need a dad.